So I'm joined by Taylor, aka PainUser, and we are playing a game against his buddy. Thank you again for doing this for us. And I wanted to ask you, so you've played, you're fighting against Marvel right now. You've played Marvel before. Tell me about what you expect from him.
Just pretty much a standard game, especially since we're playing in practice. And a lot of times in practice, like, to get the best practice, you kind of want to just drill your best basic overall build orders against people. So, like, you don't really want to use cheesy builds that end the game really quick, and you kind of want to just play like a standard straight up style repeatedly.
Okay, gotcha.
And that way you can get a better judge for, like, you know, how it works against someone who's playing standard.
Okay, sounds good. So he's Protoss right now. I'm wondering if you're going to see it. Oh, he's already working some shenanigans inside your base.
Indeed, he is. He's trying to pylon block where I was going to build my barracks, but I just built it a little bit to the side. I don't know if he might be planning on doing some kind of really fast rush or something like that, so I'm probably going to go ahead and scout relatively early here. And
You're also welcome to tell me to shut up at any time during
No,
this game.
don't worry about it. It's fine.
So what is your game plan right now, knowing Marvel, knowing what kind of stuff he's going to go for? What are you thinking about doing here?
Well, right now I'm just going to focus on getting out an early Marine and then an early Marauder. Going to scout the map and see what's going on. And then on this map in particular, against Protoss, going mech, which is like factory units, mechanized units from Terran, is super effective on this map. So I'm probably...
Are you going to be doing some Hellions? Are you going to be doing... Because I've heard that siege tanks not such a good idea against Protoss. What is your opinion?
Yeah, it really just depends on the map, but in general, they're not that great of an idea against Protoss. Just basically because of Immortals. Like, the Immortal in and of itself is pretty much just a hard counter to siege tanks. It just absorbs, you know, it only takes 20 damage a shot. Siege tanks obviously do 50 or 55 to armored targets. So
I'm just wondering, do you have every number in the game memorized? Because it seems like a lot of pro players do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Amazing. Did that require intensive studying?
No, you just kind of, I don't know.
Do you just learn over time?
Yeah, you just learn it over time. It's like, to be a pro, like, you've put in so much time and you have so much experience-based knowledge, and you've clicked on all the units and checked their stats many times that you just, like, you know their speed, you know their armor, you know. But some of it takes studying. Like, certain stats, you know, at a glance, you don't really, like, think about, you know, what's a unit's move speed, how much bonus armor does a unit get with an upgrade. Like, you don't think about that stuff, so you kind of have to, like, figure it out. But also, figuring out the numbers, at least for me, like, a lot of players really don't care. But for me, figuring out the numbers kind of, like, changes the way that you think about the game. Like, certain things that you wouldn't think are super strong, like certain upgrades, it'll become apparent to you that, like, wow, this upgrade benefits this unit a lot. Maybe I should go for that more in specific situations.
Okay, got it.
So it gives you, like, a different level of insight that other players, I guess, wouldn't have if they don't study the numbers as closely.
All right, I hear you.
Does that make
sense?
I
noticed, yes, absolutely. And I noticed that you are dropping down your next command center before even the 6-minute mark. So you are generally a pretty early expander, would you say?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
Or does it just depend on the game?
No, I am definitely an early and aggressive expander throughout the entire game. I like to maintain, like, a economic lead over my opponent pretty much at all times. And I try and play, like, a defensive macro style of game, which lately hasn't been working nearly as well against Protoss, because that's, like, their whole MO. Protoss is all about just playing a defensive macro style game.
Okay.
And
absolutely.
It seems like now that Protoss players have it figured out a lot more. It's just becoming much more difficult to play the style of game that I'm much more comfortable with, and it's really frustrating lately.
So now that you have a few Marines out, what's your next step? What's your next mid-game plan here?
The Marines, I'm only really building just to keep myself from dying.
Okay, and maybe prep yourself for this mech builds that you wanted to do?
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm just switching over to hard factories. I'm swapping my reactor over to my factory so I can start producing Hellions. And I'm pretty much going to be making exclusively Hellions and tanks from this point on. And then,
okay, interesting. So you are going to go with tanks, even if you're against Protoss?
And that's a map-specific thing.
Okay.
This map is super narrow, and there's lots of cliffs and funnels. Like if you look around in these areas here,
Absolutely.
the whole map is just riddled with cliffs. So you can position tanks in all kinds of different areas on this map in particular that just makes mech so strong.
Perfect.
But you really have to, it's difficult. You have to know what you're doing, you have to have experience with it, and then you have to get your tanks and your Hellions into very specific positions that are super advantageous for them.
Okay. And something that I always want to ask pro players is that how do you handle supply depot placement? Because that's something that I feel like, you know, Tara and I just, a lot of amateur games, I see supply depots littering the map.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like everything that you're doing, everything you're throwing down is very specific and serves a purpose. Can you talk about that at all?
Well, the first few supply depots, I always try and use
just to
the
block
wall.
off your ramp, right?
It's pretty standard. And then beyond that, it really depends on the race. Like against Protoss, you don't have to worry about this so much. But like for instance, against Terran, I'll put supply depots here to block between the back of my mineral line and my factory, just in case somebody's trying to come in with a Blue Flame Hellion drop or something like that.
Ooh,
in the event that they drop the Hellions like out here, and then they try and run into the back of your mineral line, you have a nice little wall going like that. So it just gives you that much more time to react with your SCVs.
Perfect.
And the way I look at it is like, why not build every building in a location that could possibly help you at some point in the game?
It could be advantageous sometime down the line, yeah.
It's all about just like minor little efficiencies that stack up throughout the entire game.
And in terms of upgrades, what are you going to be going for here? Are you going to hold off a little bit and focus on getting units out? Or are you gonna be...
Just dropped my armory.
Look at that. It's like I predicted it.
Yeah, I just dropped my armory. I'm going to be getting mech upgrades pretty soon.
Do you ever do a dual armory, or do you only use one?
Occasionally I'll do a dual armory.
Or 7 of them all at once.
But I think a dual armory is really good on like a super big map, like the new GSL maps and stuff like that.
Okay, got it.
It just right now I'm gonna focus for a second. I'm gonna go on a quick little push here, and it's geez. He's actually right outside my base. I didn't even know he was there. Oh, and there's a missile turret over there. Or, I mean, there's a observer that's in range of my missile turret, so I'm going to be able to pick that off.
There you go.
Now he doesn't know where I am or when I'm coming. Oh, I really got to spend my money. All right.
I'll let you focus for a moment.
And
we can watch the magic of your mouse
so
as
now,
it blazes across the screen.
Now I'm going to push, and I'm trying to get to like a really, really good position here. I'm going to absolutely shell away on him here. This is going to be horrible for him. He's pretty much massing gateway units, and I'm obviously massing mech units, so that's not the best situation in the world for him. Gonna pick off a few free units here, and it looks like he's gonna try and run all the way back to his base. Yeah, he is. Not his fight right here.
Did throw up a few force fields, but your tanks can pretty much, I mean, that's irrelevant for them, so.
Exactly. That's another reason why tanks are really good on this map, I feel like.
They can just shoot right over the force fields.
Yep, and it's like, it's not necessarily, like, tanks aren't nearly as affected by force fields. So now I'm going to put up a couple turrets with my push here.
All right, excellent.
Oh, here he comes.
All right, let's do it. Let's see what happens.
I might actually lose this, I don't know. We'll see. Alright, yeah, it looks like I came out ahead on that. And now I'm just going to keep creeping my tanks up. I'm slowly inching towards his natural. I've set all my rally points, so all my reinforcements are going to be coming down to this area. Now I just need to focus on spending my money, continuing my push, slowly working into his natural. He's going to be forced to fight me at some point.
And now, are you concerned at all about any sort of drop or warp in at your base now that you're kind of camped right outside here?
Not right now, because his attention is like 100% focused here. Yeah, I've forced him into a situation where like something like that wouldn't even be a big deal. But even if something like that did present itself, like,
and the GG comes out.
Yeah. Even if a situation like that did present itself.
And indeed, tanks are so good.
And it's like skinny map. He's basically saying what I was saying earlier. Like on that map, tanks are super, super effective.
Playing to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.